Hello, boys and girls. Brad the Fixologist here. Recently, I released a video repairing my wife's old 2011 Apple Mac computer. If you haven't seen that video yet, I'll leave a link up here for you guys to check out in a new tab later. That experience sort of put me on the lookout for older Macs that I could repair and use. I then ran across this 2012 iMac that was being given away for free on Facebook Marketplace. The owner said they didn't know whether it worked or not, but it came with a wireless mouse and keyboard, so I quickly messaged them and found out they were less than a mile from my house. So I told the lady I could be there in 5 minutes. She messaged me back and said that she had other interested parties and she would let me know. Usually that's code for your deal's about to fall through. So I quickly messaged back again, knowing I was about to lose out to someone else, and said I could be there in 5 minutes with $20 to give her for her trouble, and she agreed to that. While I was there, she told me it powered up fine, but the fan had started making terrible noises before it finally quit blowing altogether. So already we know we're going to need to replace or repair the fan, but I also know that we're going to need to do something about the outdated operating system, which Apple has stopped offering support for on these older Macs. In our last Mac video, we replaced the Mac OS with Linux, but in this one I thought it might be fun to see if we could update this 2012 Mac all the way up to the current operating system, which will require some software patching to accomplish. We'll also see what other upgrades we can make on one of these older Macs to make them continue to perform as daily drivers well into the future despite their age. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, stick around. Okay, here we are with this fan up on the bench. I have it already disassembled. This is real easy to take apart. It's just two halves of the thing, and you've got these little clasps here at regular intervals around this. You just basically want to get a little screwdriver up under the clasps and kind of release them one at a time, and the whole thing comes apart. And you can see this little stator with the magnets here. This one is very, very dirty. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this too well, but you should be able to see it somewhat. This has got all kinds of dirt. Just like inside the machine itself, there is all kinds of dirt that's made its way up into here, and it is caked on everywhere up around here, up around the electronics, and it's made its way up onto the spindle shaft here. So we're gonna have to clean this very well because it has kind of burned itself onto this shaft, and it's turned into like a goo of sorts, and it is very, very sticky. You can't move this. When I first opened this up, the machine, I did when I first pulled the glass away just enough, I plugged it back in and turned it on just enough to see this thing try to move. It tried a couple different times to move. It just couldn't do it because it was obstructed, obviously. So I'm thinking electronically this thing is still going to work, but it's just going to have to be cleaned. So let's go ahead and clean this. And I think what I'm going to use to clean it is some of this contact cleaner. We'll just spray this. We'll spray the hell out of this thing. Try to get all this crap off of here. This is mostly just alcohol anyway. See how black that is just from that little tiny amount of spray in there. Tell you what, I'm probably gonna have to get something different to get down inside of that. Right there, these are just ever so slightly too thick to get down in there, unfortunately. The stick itself will probably fit down in there, but you can't get it with all the cotton on it. I'll try pulling some of this cotton off of here. See if we can get like that much in there. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's better. Try to soak up any last vestiges of the nasty stuff. It looks like I've got it all now. It's not black anymore, really. All right, now we'll focus our attention on this. Try to clean this off here. This is pretty bad here too, real bad actually. All right, just wipe the outside of this off. I mean, look at this. Look at the amount of this crap. I mean, you could see it when I took the case apart, just how much crap was in there. But you know what? I'm actually going to take this to the sink and wash this thing off with soap and water, and I'll be right back after that's done. Okay, soap and water did the trick on that. I took a scouring pad, like a Scotch-Brite pad, and was able to get all that crusty, gluey kind of stuff that was on there off. Soap and warm water did the trick. This comes apart in a couple of pieces here. So there's a magnetic circle here that just comes out. If you want to take that, I mean, you don't have to take that apart necessarily if you want to clean it, but it did make things a little easier when I removed that. But it just pops out. But yeah, this thing actually came up really clean, so we're going to let this all dry out, and once this is completely dry, we'll get it back together and get it back in the machine and see what it does. I'm going to have to clean out the rest of this machine as well, so I'm thinking I'll get away with probably getting the air compressor out. That's probably what I'll do with this, is get the air compressor out and just spray it with the air compressor hose on the back porch. We'll go ahead and do that. Alright, I took my air compressor to the rest of the case, and it came out really, really clean. All kinds of dust flew out of that thing. But we've got this back together. It's all dry and ready to be reinstalled. I have used some of this electronics lubricant. This is Max Pro electronics lubricant. You can get this at a hardware store. You can get it at Walmart, I think. You can get it at like auto parts stores. I like this stuff for lubricating small motors and stuff like this, but I just sprayed a little bit of this down on the shaft in there, and reinstall this, and now this thing spins absolutely freely with no hiccups, no issues, and I think it is ready to be reinstalled and used. But we'll snap this all back together with these snaps. Make sure this little gasket is still in place, and it is. We've got this wire that kind of goes behind these little guides right here. There's a couple little guides that goes behind. Now we're ready to reinstall this and see if she works. I'm pretty confident this, at least the fan part, is going to work now. I don't know if you've noticed or not, but I should have a lot more light in here for some of the videos on this in this area, and that's because I've got a new overhead light here. I've got a photography light. Found at Goodwill for 25 bucks, and it had the bulb included. The bulbs are usually what are expensive on those, but I was able to find that one with a really big bulb in it already for 25 bucks, which I thought was an absolute steal. It's got the stand and everything. So they had another one too. I wish I'd grabbed it too now, but this one's doing the job for this, and it should be much brighter. But we'll get these 3 screws back in here, and these are a small Torx bit. I don't know what size Torx that is. It's a T6 or 8 or something like that. And if you're curious about the fan, there's your part number up there, 610-0142. I almost ordered one, but then I was like, well, let me take this apart and see if I can't fix this one before I go and order one. And I'm glad I did. They're only like, you can find these for under 10 bucks usually, but it's, you know, worth saving the fan if you can easily save the fan. Yeah, so this thing is back together now. Let's see if she fires up. I'm pretty sure the fan is going to go now, but I have one other potential problem that I'm worried about at this point, because when I was testing for the fan, now this did not do this when I first fired the machine up initially after getting it home, but there is a stripe now on the screen, and I'm hoping that is not permanent. I'm hoping it's only because I loosened this, because all I did was come around this and loosen it, and to get inside of it I just used a little painter's knife like this. You can get these at painter stores. You can also get these through Stuart McDonald if you work on guitars. This is what I use to get bridges and stuff off of guitars as well. A little knife like this. But I went around the edge and to release all of this adhesive to get the screen off. So after doing that and just gently leaning the thing forward and firing it up to see if the fan worked, I got a stripe, a line on the screen. So I'm thinking maybe when I pulled it, it pulled one of these connections, and fingers crossed that's all it was the connection kind of loosened when I did that. So I'm going to go ahead while I'm at it, and I'm going to spray these connections and make sure that they are getting good contact before I and let it dry before I put this thing back together completely. And this is just alcohol-based stuff. It's not going to harm anything. Also, if you're working on one of these yourself, don't come in here and start prodding around down here, because this is the power board, and this can hold a charge. There's some capacitors in here that can hold a charge long after the thing has been off. You'll want to let one of these set for quite a while, you know, probably 30, 45 minutes to an hour at least, before messing with anything to do with the power board. You can kind of take other things apart, but you definitely don't want to touch down here, because it will zap you, and I've learned that lesson the hard way in the past. So for now, let's just set this up here. Might even be better off with this on the floor, because I think if I don't do it on the floor, I'm probably going to end up regretting it. Actually, no, I think I could do it up here. I just need to do it probably standing up, because it's going to be, I think, easier to control, keep it from falling down if I can do it standing up. Nope, changed my mind again. I'm doing this on the floor. And actually, I'm not sure what adhesive I'm going to use with this. What they used originally was some sort of little bit of weather stripping. I could use some double-sided tape. Okay, here we go. I don't have this thing adhered back on there yet, because like I said, I want to test it first. I just want to see if the fan works. I'm pretty confident the fan's going to work. What's bothering me now is the screen. I'm really worried about the screen not working. I think I might have damaged it somehow. It shouldn't have damaged it, no more than what I did, but it's an Apple product, so, you know, there's that. Oh, I can hear it now. Well, the fan's working now. And there's no line. Yes. Oh yeah. Yeah, that fan's going now. That sucker's really going. It could be quieter. I wish it was a little quieter, but it is actually working. And this is one that actually it booted up into the OS, into the Mac OS. And I want to apologize for my last video when I did this other Macintosh over here. This is a 2011 Mac over here that I installed Linux and stuff in the last time we did one of these. I think I kept calling the OS the iOS instead of the Mac OS, and somebody called me out on it and said, "It's a Mac OS, you idiot." So, touche on that. I don't even know if it's going to boot back into the OS or not. Yeah, it looks like it is. It sure is. Yep. I'll tell you what, the fan is working, but it doesn't sound all that healthy. It sounds like it's maybe struggling a little bit. Mouse works, keyboard works. I mean, if nothing else, I mean, for 20 bucks, I got the mouse and keyboard for my other Mac back there. So, I mean, at the end of the day, that's probably worth it. Just that. Yeah, that fan is definitely loud. It's definitely loud. It's working though. It's drawing all kinds of air. So, I mean, I'm not worried about the loudness of it so much as the functionality. Did I actually manage to crack into this? I think I did. my God, I'm in it. I'm in. And it's working. Wow. We're in. Okay, so I'm not going to show all this part because I actually hacked into this person's username, and it only took about 5 minutes. I didn't show all of that process, but it was basically, it was real simple. There was a reminder on the password there, and it was very kind of specific. It was like the person's initials and then the date of birth, like the year of birth. And so I just went through like a few different years. Like I just guessed how old this person was and was able to hack in there. I don't know how ethical that is necessarily, but once I got in there, I actually, any files that I found, I dumped them onto a thumb drive and actually was able to take them back over there to them. They were kind of an elderly couple. So, there was some like family photos and things like that. So I went ahead and just dumped those on a thumb drive and took them over there. They were actually happy to have them. So it all worked out. But anyway, this thing has Catalina, which is a 2019 release of the Mac OS, and there's been several releases since then. And in fact, Catalina is the last release that's going to be able to be used by Google Chrome. So I was going to have to upgrade this somehow, but this is also the last OS that this particular Mac is able to update through the Apple update process. So yeah, man, they don't support their products for more than what, 12 years? I don't know, man. It's not like it can't run the new OS. They just stop supporting this stuff, wanting to force you to buy a new one. I cannot understand for the life of me why people keep buying Apple stuff, because I get the argument some people make, like, oh, this is a very old computer. You can't expect them to keep supporting this and keep, giving you new installs of the new OSs and all this stuff. Well, yeah, I kind of do expect it because it can clearly run the OSs that are past Catalina. They just don't give you the option to do it. So it's not like it can't run it. They just choose to not support it because they want you to have to buy a new one. But with the workaround that we're going to do here, we're going to get past that. I'll show you how. What do we got here? We got 8 gigs of DDR3 RAM, 2.7 gigahertz quad core Intel i5. This is a late 2012, not a 2015. Okay. And it has Mac Catalina installed. Let me see if I can update this. I'm unable to check for updates. Oh yeah, because I'm not connected to the internet. All right, let's see what our last video looks like and sounds like on here.
My name.
Sweet. I'll tell you what, man, you cannot beat that for 20 bucks. You cannot beat that for 20 bucks.
Alright, that throttle cable.
Alright, this is all 4K, and it looks great. Actually, it can look even better because that's only 720.
It's a metering diaphragm, and you find these on all these two-stroke small engines like this, and they are very, very.
This one won't play in 4K, but the 1080 looks great.
Cause of one of these engines going down and not pumping fuel.
Sounds good.
So let's get a new one of those on.
Oh
there.
yeah,
While
buddy.
we're changing the bulb as well.
Oh yeah, buddy.
And we'll grab one of these. Now they sent a bulb with a chainsaw in the last video.
Okay, so that's it. And actually, the fan has quieted right down considerably. So I think we're going to be all right with this. I just need to get some adhesive. Probably use a little bit of adhesive tape. I'm going to use a couple drops of 527 stuff. I'll use one drop up in each of these corners. I think that's probably going to do the trick. Right there. And we'll drop it here. Maybe one tiny drop here in the middle. Away from the camera, obviously. Oh yeah. This might be complete hubris, but I think that's probably going to be okay. One thing I am a bit disappointed in is that they said this was a 2015 and it's actually a 2012. For something I gave 20 bucks for. It's going to work for my purposes just fine. My purposes are just, you know, internet surfing, stuff like that. I'm going to probably give this to my youngest daughter, let her play games on it or let her surf the net or whatever, you know, research stuff, do homework, that sort of thing.
Several days later.
Alright, so we got this iMac all sealed back up. I went ahead and glued it back together on the screen, and I used some of this 527 glue. It's kind of easy to get back off of there. That's why I used that stuff instead of something a little more powerful. But I only put it in a few different spots, like here, 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 and here. So it shouldn't be too much to get it back off, but we're going to use the same little painter's knife or, you know, luthier's knife to get this screen back off. And the reason we're doing that now is because I'm going to upgrade this with a solid state drive. This is a 512 gigabyte solid state drive that I just ordered. And I think this was like, I want to say it was under 40 bucks for 512 gigabytes for a Samsung. I could have got a non-name brand, but you kind of don't. I mean, those have come a long way, and I'm way more comfortable with them now than I would have been at one point in time. However, you know, if you're going to put a bunch of files and stuff that you care about on one, I would probably trust the name brand a little bit more. So we got a Samsung and splurged a little bit more than we normally would have. But we're going to go along the edge here. We have to reopen this because, like I said, I glued it back. So we will get our knife in here and just separate this glue again. I didn't want to use too much of this stuff. I just used a little tiny dab of it in a couple spots, and that really seemed to be all it needed to stay closed. So, but this will give you a chance to kind of see what I'm doing here. I'm just taking this painter's knife along the edge of the screen, and this is what you would do if you're taking one apart that still has the factory adhesive. You would just come along the edge of the screen. You can heat it up if you want, and that will make it easier. I probably wouldn't use a heat gun because that's a little bit much. Just a hair dryer would probably get it. All right, now we're just going to lift this away very gently, and there are two cables that we need to undo. This top one right here, you can just pull it out. And I need to actually unplug it first. No, it is unplugged. Boy, they're not very generous with the cables here at all. There's not very much there. I cannot believe I just cracked that screen. I was trying to make it where you guys could actually see, so I wasn't going to bring it down here. It's harder to see down here than it was standing up. So that was the reason for that, but really stupid mistake. Anyway, no, there's only space in here for one hard drive, and we're definitely going to upgrade it with this one. We need this big rubber thing to go over the hard drive though. So we'll just lift it up off of here. Kind of stick that on. I'm not too worried about whether or not it's stuck to it tightly. It shouldn't be that big of a deal as long as these brackets are on here. They'll be held down. Okay. That's pretty much it. It's that simple. It's in there now. Alright, we just got to get this screen back on here now hopefully without cracking it any further.
see what kind of damage was done.
In case you don't know, the way to get into internet recovery mode is to hit the Option, Command, and on a Windows keyboard, that's the Alt and Windows keys, and then hold those down at the same time you hold down the R key. As soon as you hit the power button, just hold those three down, and it'll get you into the screen with the spinning globe like we saw. And now it should hopefully get us to where we can restore Mac OS onto this. And it's going to be an old Mac OS, and hopefully there's a way to patch up to a newer Mac OS. We'll see how it goes. I don't know. Yeah, it's too bad I dropped the screen while getting the thing off there. See, there's a really tiny lip down here that holds this particular screen. It's a bigger lip and more secure on the 2011 version that I've done before, so I wasn't expecting it to fall like that. So I did crack it right here, and there's a crack that goes up here to the. It doesn't go onto the screen though, so I guess I got lucky. So maybe if you do yours, lay them flat on the back and just be very, very careful when you take it up. All right, so now we're going to be going into hopefully the screen. It should come up here, giving us the option to restore the OS soon. Yeah, okay, so we're going to choose English. We're connected on Wi-Fi. Let's go ahead and let's try to reinstall Mac OS. We'll see how this goes. All right, it wants to reinstall Mac OS Catalina. Okay, so now we're able to see this drive. It actually has a picture of the drive, and we're able to try to install. We'll see how it goes. We are hooked up to Wi-Fi, so if Apple's going to allow us to download this, it should do it, but who knows? We'll see how this goes. It says we got about 40 minutes remaining. We'll come back to this. We'll see how it ends up and whether it is able to install. Okay, let's see. Moment of truth. Do we have a working OS or not?
If you know how to use VoiceOver, press Command F5 now to turn it on and set up your Mac.
Okay. What if you didn't have a phone? Would you be able to set up any kind of product anymore? Would you be able to do anything in the era of two-factor identification without a phone? I mean, what if I just had a landline? All right. We are on, guys. Let's open up Safari and we'll just see if we can. Let's see, we got updates available. Do I want to install these? Yes, we'll just install the updates. Automatically turned on. Alrighty. No problem. Let's update everything. Let's see. Let's see if we can go to trusty YouTube. And let's see what this Gitologist guy is up to. Oh my goodness, Gitologist. Look at this. Oh man. I would normally think that YouTube had anything out like for me or against me or anything like that if it wasn't for the fact that when I type in, of all the things that come up, Gitologist arrested is the number 2 thing that comes up. This is the same problem I have with Google. If you actually Google me, this is of all the things I've ever done in my life, it's like, is that the one thing that I've done? You know, because it would seem that way. I have 150,000 subscribers, 1,000 videos on YouTube, and like the first stuff that comes up is about me being arrested one time, and I wasn't even arrested, nor was I prosecuted for that supposed crime that I was eventually charged with, but the charges have been dropped, and this is the only thing that's I'm known for. Come on. Anyway, so let's see what this guy's up to. Gitologist, let's see what he's up to. All right.
Hey, how's it going, dudes and dudettes? Brad the Gitologist here.
That one's 1080.
Hey, how's it going, dudes and dudettes?
Oh, I can only do 1080 on this thing. It won't. This won't. I can't view in 4K.
Video, we're going to take a look at this. This is a Theremin that is actually, weirdly enough, owned by my neighbor, like 2 doors down. Yeah, it's kind of unusual that someone...
But there we go. Okay, so there is a 2012 iMac that has been successfully upgraded to an SSD And also we successfully fixed the faulty fan, which had quit on the previous owner, and that's the reason they were giving it away. It was actually free on Facebook Marketplace, but I handed the lady 20 bucks. I said, here's 20 bucks. Also, another thing I did, when I was going through this thing, I noticed I was able to get in to the account, and I noticed they had a bunch of stuff on there, like family photos and things, and I was like, I'm going to dump these on a thumb drive and take it back to them, and I did. They had a bunch, and let's just be a lesson to you. Don't ever sell or give away a computer without wiping the hard drive completely, and I mean like wiping it and overwriting it. What are we doing here? What happened there? It just restarted. I think maybe it just updated. That's probably why. I hope that's why. Because it just restarted out of the blue. I'm sure it's fine, because I did hit to install updates, but we'll keep an eye on it. But yeah, definitely let that be a lesson to you. Don't give away or sell a computer when you've still got stuff on it, because these people had like 10 years worth of tax preparation information and stuff on this computer, and it was like, oh my god. And it had like all their information was there, and it didn't take anything to get into it. Nothing. I mean, it was easy, and it was like, okay, this is messed up. You guys got lucky that this was me who got a hold of it, you know what I mean? But anyway, I took them a thumb drive with all their personal stuff on it. So yeah, like I said, 2012 iMac. It looks like it's just reinstalling. It says about a minute remaining. So it's installing some updates to the operating system, and everything should be fine. The one thing I regret, the one thing I'm really kicking myself over with this whole thing, is the fact that when I was getting the screen off that second time, I dropped it down and cracked it right there, and it did have that little chip out right there, but I've put this crack in down here, so I feel really stupid about that, obviously, but hey man, sometimes shit happens. When it does happen, I'm going to leave it in the video, because it's going to show you guys what to look out for. It's going to show you the pitfalls of doing this stuff, and it's reality. I mean, if nothing else, man, they were giving it away, like I said. But I went ahead and handed her 20 bucks, and if nothing else, for 20 bucks, you know, I've got the keyboard for the thing, I've got a mouse for the thing, both wireless, and also, even though I bought a new hard drive, I have this old one as well. I think this was 2 terabytes. So I've got a 2 terabyte hard drive I can put in one of those little hard drive cases you can get on Amazon. This inside of here is a hard drive just like this one, but I mean for just storing stuff on this long term, if you're not even using it every day, you can buy these on Amazon for not a lot of money. They're dirt cheap. They're like $5 for one of these little cases. It comes with the cable with USB to plug it into your computer. Keep these hard drives and just get one of these, and again, I'll put a link down below. Okay, so I'm currently patching this Mac OS up to Ventura, which is well above what this Mac should be capable of downloading. This one stopped at Catalina, that's what it had on it, and it wouldn't update any past that. But with the OpenCore Legacy Patcher, a link to which I will include down below, you can actually get around that. Some people were commenting that in the last video that I made on this Mac over here, that maybe I should have tried doing that. Well, you know, I wanted to put Linux on this one. So this one has Linux on it. I might go back and still try to patch that and do like a dual boot. But on this one, I wanted to go ahead and try to update this one as far as I could. I tried Sonoma on this. This is a late 2012, and Sonoma did not work, but Ventura appears to be working. Okay, so here we are after running the OpenCore Legacy Patcher, and we can look at this and see we have indeed a late 2012 21.5-inch Mac, and you see right down there we are running Ventura 13.6.9. so this thing has been successfully updated well past what Apple would normally allow. Okay, so it's probably been about 45 minutes after the last clip, and I found out my computer actually could update to Sonoma. That's after updating to Ventura to check for updates, but it actually started updating on its own, and I realized, oh, okay, it needed to update to Ventura first before it could go on to Sonoma. So we'll see how this goes. It hopefully will be okay, fingers crossed. But it's looking like I'm gonna have Sonoma on this. Okay, it looks like we have Sonoma. Here's the tail of the tape at the end of all this process. So we have gotten this iMac late 2012 upgraded to Mac OS Sonoma 14.6.1. I am really stoked about this outcome. This is really nice, man. We got this entire thing complete with the Bluetooth mouse and keyboard for about 50 bucks. And that's after getting an SSD drive. I ordered one of those for, that was about $37, something like that. I ordered it. It was a secondhand one that I ordered, but I wanted a name brand, so I got a Samsung secondhand. 512 gig hard drive and everything that you see here with the GeForce 640M, 8 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM, which that might be the next thing I upgrade if possible. But yeah, man, we're in this for just over 50 bucks. So yeah, definitely worthwhile. Definitely something that you can do if you want to, I don't know, maybe make a little extra money on the side. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people out here who are getting these old Macs, updating them much further than they should be updated, using the Open Core Legacy Patcher and putting them back into service. This one is going to be a great computer, I think, for a long time to come. And it's because of just doing a few simple things like you've seen in this video. So if you've enjoyed this one, hit subscribe down below. If you'd like to see more videos like this in the future, let me know. Man, I repair all kinds of stuff on this channel, so if you like watching stuff get fixed, you know, either people have given up on or they've discarded to the curb or what have you, you're in the right spot. Be sure to hit subscribe for now, and we'll see y'all later.